Well, guys, there it is. Earth. Pretty cool. And there we are, too. Our entire species just walking around on a little sphere floating in darkness. Or, at least that is where we used to all be. Now, we can say there are a few of us who've left our blue planet and have for a time been able to live amongst the stars in space. It is because of space travel that we are currently able to view our planet in its entirety. For years, our image of Earth was broken down into smaller things: forests, lakes, cities, oceans. These things don't seem small from our perspective, and their size relative to larger things don't strip them of value. But when we take a moment to zoom out from them, it becomes clear just how limited our view is of our planet. With our limited view, it is perhaps easier to get caught up in ourselves as individuals, or to view other humans as if they are somehow less human than we are ourselves. For thousands of years, our species has been caught up in finding differences in order to justify bigotry and war. Now, this may be us, and this, but this is also us, the only us that should matter. When astronauts first went into space and they looked back at their home, this is what they saw. Not a house, or a city, or a country, but one planet. After seeing an overview of Earth like this, many astronauts reported a radical cognitive shift in the way they felt towards Earth and other humans. This impact on astronauts is known as the overview effect. To these astronauts, the pettiness of human conflicts all over the globe became more clear, and a deep sense of connectedness arose.
There's a couple of great effects from that, the overview effect. My crewmate Samantha put it this way, that you get to see Earth as a spaceship flying through the universe. It's like when you're here, born and raised on Earth, this is home, and everything else is out there. But when you're out there, you can look back and see that the Earth is a spaceship, and the words that she used are, we need to be crewmates, not just passengers, which I think is a great description of it.
So Edgar Mitchell, as you know, is an Apollo astronaut. He went to the moon, and he had like an experience. Here it is. You ready? Yeah. Shall I read it to you? You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of the neck and drag him 250,000 miles out and say, look at that.
Can we get a cosmic perspective realistically
without going into space? Yeah. Yes, I think so.
How nice it would be if our entire species could feel the overview effect. But the vast majority of people are not astronauts. Going into space isn't so simple right now. So how can we radically shift the minds of the billions of humans who will never leave our atmosphere? One possible way is with pictures of space. As space technology progressed, we got more and more images of our planet. The first images from space were dark and grainy, but over time they have become more clear and vibrant. Now we even have videos of our planet, bringing us closer and closer to replicating the view astronauts themselves have seen. And now, maybe there's a way to get even closer to what astronauts experience, and that is with virtual reality technology. By just putting on a headset, people can find themselves surrounded by a 360-degree view of space right before their eyes. It isn't actual space, of course, but maybe it is close enough to measure some kind of noticeable effect. In order to test whether a VR experience of space could invoke the overview effect in people, we created a study that would observe whether or not people who had experienced VR space would show higher levels of altruism on average than those who didn't. We had one control group take an altruism test without the VR, and our test group that took the altruism test after the VR. The VR experience we chose is called Apollo 11. We picked this VR experience because it had vivid scenes that showed the Earth in its entirety, and it also put participants in the point of view of an actual astronaut going up into space. In the end, we didn't see any significant difference between the two groups. Maybe we can't properly measure the overview effect. It is hard to even tie down the best way to measure it, but it was clear through watching the participants go through the VR experience that flying across and viewing the Earth from space did affect them. Maybe not in a radical, life-changing way, but For sure, in a positive way. Perhaps just giving people a moment to step back and marvel at how beautiful our planet is made the experience worth it. Maybe if more people had such an experience, they'd feel more inclined to protect our home instead of destroying it and each other. Maybe these experiences start much smaller by simply teaching about space, our planet, and how it is everyone's responsibility to take care of it, to make sure that the Earth remains a planet that can support the life on it. Because this is us, and though some of us have ventured into space, it's never been too far. In the future, we may settle on some other planet light years away, but for now, this is the place we get to call home, and it's pretty cool.